I feel like I say this in every video, but I am super excited for today's video because it's one of your recommendations. I cannot thank you guys enough when you recommend videos in the comment section. I'm here to create videos that you guys want to see. So let me know any and all recommendations always down below. But today you guys requested I do my favorite blushes. I'm kind of shocked that I haven't done this, but I have a couple of theories as to why I haven't. I'm not huge into blush and I don't step outside of my blush comfort zone too often, which is all the more reason to do a video on this. So I don't know why I hadn't thought of this in the past, but I've been using these blushes for a very long time, and like I said, I don't steer away from them too often, so I recommend all of these wholeheartedly. I have a couple of different recommendations in today's video. I have my favorite radiant blush, my favorite matte blush, my favorite natural blush, and my favorite liquid blushes, all from the drugstore. Again, let me know if you guys want to see a high-end version of this. I could do that as well, but for today, we're sticking to the drugstore. So let's get started with my first blush recommendation, which is the Burt's Bees blush. I have the shade Bare Peach. This is the only shade I have, but I really want to get the pink version, which I think is called Shy Pink. This is a beautiful blush. I would say 8 times out of 10, I'm grabbing for this blush because the finish is so beautiful. It has a radiant finish, which I really like. So it has a little bit of a healthy glow to it. I think that just makes blush look a little more natural. Now there is a time and place for matte blush, and I do have my favorites that I'm gonna recommend, but the formula on this is amazing. It's very pigmented, so you don't have to really go in to build up color. I go in with my Japanesque 722 brush. I'm gonna start saying blush and brush. I do that every time. This is my favorite brush to apply blush with. I love how it's angled, so it just kind of helps me with my placement, and I like to lift my face with blush. That's completely dependent on your face shape, so play around with it, but I prefer to place my blush a little bit farther back on the cheeks and lift up because I have, you know, a round face and kind of chipmunky cheeks, which again is a reason I don't over blush because I don't want to accent that more than they already are naturally. So back to the Burt's Bees blush. This is, I have notes which I'm referencing down below. This is $9.99, which is super affordable, I think, when it comes to a blush. And if you get this at CVS, you can always use a 40% off coupon. It comes in 5 radiant shades that are more on the natural side. So we're not talking like hot pinks or anything like that. There is kind of a deep wine color that's really pretty. I think that would be beautiful on deeper skin tones. So pretty good selection of shade range. It's not tested on animals. There's no parabens, phthalates, no synthetic fragrance, which is really good. It's very, very blendable. Now, I couldn't figure out if Burt's Bees was cruelty-free. I saw that it said they don't test on animals, and you guys will have to help me out on that. Does that make a brand cruelty-free? They're not vegan, which that could definitely be an improvement. I'm not vegan, and I don't only use cruelty-free brands yet. That is something I would eventually like to do, but I think that's important to kind of get that information out there for those of you who are. So try this blush. It is my absolute favorite. Like I said, I grab for it probably the most out of everything, and I will be picking up more colors. It's a really, really nice one. Moving on to my next favorite formula, which is also my favorite matte formula. These are the Milani Rose Powder blushes. I'm just gonna reference my notes real quick here to get the information out there first. This comes in 6 healthy matte shades, cruelty-free. This is $8.99. It's vegan except for Blossom Time Rose and Spiced Rose. This is Blossom Time Rose, so there must be some kind of pigment in there that isn't vegan. These are extremely blendable and extremely buildable. So the Burt's Bees, I would say, is a little more pigmented. These you have to build up a little bit more if you want to get to the pigment that the Burt's Bees gives off right off the bat. This has a nice range of pinks, peaches, and terracotta colors. However, I think they could use a bright pink in the collection. I love these. These are like the ultimate, to me, bridal blushes. I think that Blossom Time Rose actually has a little bit of a sheen to it while the rest appear to be matte. It does say online that they're all a matte formula, but I'm telling you, Blossom Time Rose has a little bit of a sheen to it and it's beautiful. This is probably my most reached for because like I said, I really kind of like a natural looking blush, and to me, that has a little bit of a sheen to it. Again, they blend beautifully, they build beautifully. I have recommended this to so many people and they've fallen in love with them. You cannot go wrong with this blush. I promise you, if you pick this up from the drugstore, you will absolutely love it. Moving on to my favorite liquid blush from the drugstore, which is also my favorite liquid blush. These are the Milani Cheek Kiss liquid blushes. These are so beautiful. You can also use them on the lips, which is awesome. They come in 6 shades, which I think is a really nice variety with what they have to offer. $9.99, cruelty-free, vegan, super blendable, super buildable. It's not greasy at all. They're very, very lightweight. And again, I can't stress enough how nice the shade range is with this. I feel like it pretty much covers everything I would want in a makeup kit if I, was still a practicing makeup artist. Very, very close second to that, which pretty much has the exact same offering, are the Flower Blush Bombs. These are really pretty too. However, you can only get them from Walmart, Ulta, and I think you can buy from the Flower Beauty website, but I'm not sure. I just want to check my notes. This one, the Flower, is $10, but everything else is the exact same as the Milani. But again, you can buy the Milani from the drugstore. So I would use either one of these interchangeably. However, I do think Milani is slightly more pigmented than the Flower. So if you were kind of starting out dabbling in cream blush, liquid blush, you might want to grab the Flower because I think there's a little more room for error if you go in too heavy. Now the Milani, you can totally blend out. In fact, when I was applying this to my face today, I went in a little too heavy, but I was totally able to blend it out with no problem whatsoever. I use a AOA Paw Paw sponge to apply my liquid blush. Some people like to apply liquid blush with a brush, but I prefer a sponge. I just kind of put it out on the back of my hand, tap into it, and then I apply. I find I have a little more control with that. And again, you're not gonna go in too heavy off the bat. So again, either one of these are awesome. If you happen to be in Ulta and you see these and you like Flower better, grab that. If you just want to run to the drugstore and get the Milani, grab that. It's beautiful. I don't think you can use the Flower on your lips. Maybe you can, not sure. It doesn't say you can online, but you definitely can for the Milani, which is awesome because you can kind of do like a monochromatic look, which I'm all about. All right, so we've covered my favorite radiant and natural, which is the Burt's Bees. We covered my favorite matte, which is the Milani, even though I think Blossom Time Rose is slightly radiant. And then we covered my favorite liquid, which is the Milani, and then close second is the Flower. So I did want to add one honorable mention to this, and this is the BH Cosmetics Nude Blush 10 Color Blush Palette. This is a beautiful, beautiful palette with pretty much every nude blush you could want. There are mattes and shimmers in this. This is $12 on BH.com, but let me tell you, BH always has sales. I think right now when I checked last night when I was doing my research, it was $9. Cruelty-free, vegan, very blendable, very buildable formula, paraben-free. I think the shade range for nudes is beautiful. There are light tones of pink, dark tones of pink, corals, tan, and bricks. What else could you want in a nude blush palette? And then there's other palettes as well. There's, I think, a brighter palette called like the Color Blush, and I think there's one more. So definitely check this out if you're placing an order on BH. I mean, I think their shipping is really cheap. Or if you're just kind of getting into makeup and maybe you're starting your makeup kit, having things like this makes it so easy. Transporting things like this when it's not just your personal collection, again, when you're doing makeup professionally, can get very annoying. It takes up a lot of space. This is a very, very thin palette. I love traveling with this because I'm not super worried if they're gonna break because they're affordable. It's covered, so I'm not gonna worry about spillage, and it's very, very thin and covers pretty much any nude blush I would ever want. So I wanted to throw that honorable mention in there. I have all of these blushes on my face. I was thinking about applying these blushes as I talked about them, but one, I think that would just take up a ton of time. Two, what something looks on me might look totally different on you depending on your skin tone, your skin type, texture, application, all that stuff. So I just wanted to get the facts out there in this video. Like I said, I always apply liquid blush with a sponge and I kind of dab it in and go upwards, and then with my powder blushes I always use the Japanese 722 and I just kind of stamp and apply upwards because that's what's most flattering from my face. So that is it for this one. I hope this video was educational, informative, fun to watch. I hope you got something out of it. If you guys have any questions, as always, let me know down below. I love to read and respond to your comments. Again, keep the recommendations coming. They help me out so much. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.